1 in 4 of you are married. Either you change the way you pick a mate or you'll buy a dog and die alone.
Based off of the conversations that I have with women that detest the content.
What type
and
of
I'm
women?
an advocate saying, hey, listen to
They
him.
detest the content. Are they over 30?
Yes.
Do they tend to be overweight?
Some.
Any of them have children out of wedlock?
They all do.
Where are your balls?
Ooh. I have an absolute treat for you guys here today, in it being this piece of content. It'll have you at the edge of your seat from beginning to end. All right. Now, it is brought to you by way of the late, great Kevin R. Samuels, RIP to the GOAT. But he used to have what he referred to as these disagreement days. He also called them the smoke shows, in it being that any detractors can come on and disagree with some of his points and positions, or even the way that he has conducted the show. Now, the young brother that came into this show has an issue with Kevin's tone, says that he loves his content. He's been watching his show even before he started to talk to women, but still disagrees in the way that Kevin converses with the women, to which Kevin's response is somewhere in the range of, where are your balls at? But he does it in the most polite way possible while still addressing the points. This video right here is an absolute masterclass of not only how to prove your point, but also utilizing data to reflect your position. As Kevin will say, desperate times call for desperate measures. And if times are desperate, then that messenger may not wrap that message in a pretty little bow. Without further ado.
Disagreement.
First of all, I want to commend you on your show. I mean, I watch you every day, so you're doing a phenomenal job. I think you really try to highlight, and I think a lot of the listeners that I've been listening to, they don't watch your show, so they're not familiar with your content. But my disagreement would be that I do feel that there should be a better way to bring the men and women together. Because from what I'm hearing, there's a lot of harshness coming in tone. And I don't think a lot of women are used to that because of the society we're in.
So your disagreement is with my tone?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
Then you go do it.
Yeah, one of the best answers ever. Because if you disagree with his tone, then what's stopping you of creating your own platform and do it however you want to do it? And if your product is better, then more people will go listen to you. But it's way easier to criticize, especially if you can't pressure test your criticism towards what gets the better results.
I respect that. I can respect that.
Okay.
I just feel that
Kevin's
women
confused.
Aren't accustomed to men of that.
Were you raised by your father?
Yes.
Keep saying feel.
I'm asking because you keep talking about feeling, how you feel. I feel. That is a big trigger word, especially around men's content. Women talk about how they feel. Tell me about what you know and what you think.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, what I know is women have a very hard time with men that are as strong-toned as you come across.
What type of women?
They don't seem to receive that as well as someone with a softer tone.
Oh,
really?
God.
Does it matter how they receive it, or does it matter what they do about it?
Well, yeah.
Took off his glasses
that's
for
the
this
question
one.
I'm asking you.
Yeah. See, the thing is that we ask these men if they're raised by their father, but I think really the real question is, were you raised by your father and he was the leader in the relationship or marriage or what have you? Because those are two different things. If you were raised by a father that was just living in this happy life, happy wife shit, then you've not seen a man stand on business, right? Because oftentimes you see these withered versions of men that have prioritized her feelings over his own happiness. Let's proceed.
What matters more?
It matters more what they do with the information.
Well, then I challenge you to go look at what some of my detractors, people who tell women what they want to hear, and go find the amount of women who tell them, you saved my marriage. I'm getting married because of you. You made me a better
Results.
woman. I didn't like what you had to say, but now I'm better. Go look in their comment section. Go look at how many videos the women have made to them, and come back and tell me how they rank next to mine.
You're right.
Why? And my
I agree
question
with
is,
you.
as a black man, why are
Conversation
you
done.
coming in here making an emotional argument about tone when we got such a problem with our women?
Well, I think I'm making that argument simply because more black women, they're listening to your content. I see more and more people are having
Outcome. Well,
discussions.
let me reframe this. Why, as a man, are you giving me the emotional argument based upon outcomes?
I don't really see that many that much of a good outcome, honestly.
Of who? For me or for them?
Right.
Well, black women. I mean,
No.
black women.
My tone aside, I'm getting
Yes.
outcomes.
Yeah.
The people who tell them you're a queen and a goddess, are they getting women married, going back to their husbands, reframing how they look at men? You say you follow my content, right?
You're right. You're right. I
Who's
don't
getting
see,
the outcome?
You're getting more outcome. I mean, I will. Give
So
you
as a
that.
man, how are you going to come to
And
me
tell 'em
as
to
a man
change
who's
it.
getting a better outcome and tell me about a tone?
Come on.
Well, simply because I just feel like because
Again,
your
with the
tone.
feeling. See, the problem is when you say this, you weaken us. You sound soft saying this shit.
But how is that?
Cause you sound like. Listen to what the men are going to go back and go look in the comment section after this video, and I feel.
Kevin was about to say, this is my opinion, you sound like a bee. But, you know, he was always trying to keep it extremely professional up on his platform. But let's just take the brother's tone argument at face value. Logically, he knows that he's incorrect, but emotionally, he feels bad that the women in his circle don't like Kevin's content. Kevin don't give a shit about that. He cares about results. So this conversation is similar into walking into a sports facility and talking to the coach as if you can't be talking that way to the athletes because it makes me feel bad. Meanwhile, the coach just wants change, so he's going to be hard. He wants lessons to be instilled firmly within the players' minds so that at the moment of decision in the middle of the game, they are more inclined to make the right action as opposed to the wrong action. Who am I to tell that coach, stop doing this, although it's getting results? Young brothers like this are infinitely in the friend zone, and they often have way more female friends than male friends.
I don't. If I'm getting a different outcome, which is a better outcome, damn the tone. It's the outcome.
It's the outcome.
And if you're saying you see the same outcome, why do you care so much about the tone?
Because I don't think the majority of women are receiving what you're saying the right way.
It's not for the majority of women. And the majority of women are being told they're queens and goddesses. And what is that doing for the majority of women?
It's a bad outcome.
But if the majority of women are not receiving your content properly,
If
how
the
can
majority of women are being told they're queens and goddesses and you're tens, what are the outcomes to that?
Simp culture, debauchery,
See,
red
this is
hair.
our problem as black men right here. You want me to moderate my tone when it's getting a better outcome than the moderated tones.
But my point is, I don't think it's being received by women as well as it would be if it was a tad bit better. Trust me, I'm not saying to change your complete tone. That's not what I'm saying, because I respect your
I mean,
content.
but what you're making is a feelings-based argument.
Yeah.
If you change your tone, then what? Okay, let's
He's in
say
his feelings.
if I change my tone, what percentage increase do you think I would get?
Data.
I think you would get a lot more,
What percentage
What
increase
percent?
do you
Give me.
think I would get?
Yeah.
at least 15 to 20, at least a 15 or 20% increase.
Wow.
I don't think so. And
Yeah.
you're basing that based on what?
Just based off, once again, like you mentioned, my anecdotal.
Right.
Just
right.
people just-
Right. You have nothing to base that on. I want you to sit there and ponder that. You want me to change what's getting outcomes, verifiable, and you're saying 15 to 20% based upon
This is crazy.
nothing. That's how men operate. That's how we think.
No.
See,
I don't have
and I'm challenging you. I'm challenging this because there are going to be black women who are going to come around and say, "Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but we can't be like this because no other group of men thinks like this." It
So
is
even
weak
now-
thinking. No,
Okay, so-
no, it works. And if I'm not getting everybody, so what? I'm doing far better than the people telling they're queens and goddesses. And you can't come tell me that if you moderated your message, you get about 15 to 20% more. You can't say that. Somebody could easily come along and say he could lose 50%.
But you have to understand, a lot of people may only watch your content not because they're trying to better.
But do you understand that they could make the same argument? You could lose 50% based upon their anecdotal evidence. Could someone make the same argument? You could lose. True or false?
I mean, that's true. You could always lose followers or lose.
Well, so it's a counter argument.
So it's combat.
And what I'm saying is what you're saying doesn't make it's not rooted in anything other than your feelings.
Right.
The reason I say that, okay, first of all, you just said I use the word feelings too much. So I was raised in a household with both my father and a mother. So my mother is a very strong-willed person. My father he's also a very strong-willed person. So, but he always taught me, you catch more flies with honey than vinegar or something along that line. But anyway, it's an old school term, but he always used that term. So he always trained me to say there's a time and place to be very strong and stern, and there's a time and place to kind of fall back and use your softer side.
And you're watching a platform with a man who's been on for a year.
Yeah, well, I think
grown from 50,000 subscribers to almost 1 million.
Yes.
Who's a professional salesperson who is trained in what you're talking about. Monday through Friday, I do this.
Yes, I agree.
And
actually, you
don't think that I know the things you're talking about, but I also know as a salesperson and as a marketer, as a presenter, people respond to authenticity and actual
authority.
Outcomes.
Yeah.
But I understand it. I'm a marketing manager.
The man thought that he came up when he referenced this honey versus vinegar phrase, but that phrase would be incumbent on that there is not currently an urgency or an emergency specific to the Black community. And if you look at the numbers, 70% of children being raised in a single parent household, 25% of women will ever get married in their lifetime. These numbers are absolutely horrific and should be treated as such. Urgently. But I find it so interesting that a marketing manager who is paid to make decisions dependent upon his audience is arguing off of feelings. Anecdotal evidence of you'll get 15% more of a larger market. If you did that in the boardroom, they would fire you immediately, young man. Let's go.
Then what you're saying is not even make good business sense. It's based in nothing.
What I'm saying is not about business. What I'm saying is it's about relationships. It
is about business. You said getting more people is about increasing an outcome. It's business. It can be both.
Okay, but I thought your content was about building the Black community, building our community.
It is. And who's getting a better outcome? Who's getting the better damn outcome? Is it Derek Jackson and Steve Harvey telling you queens and everything else? Or is it this? Have you seen any videos saying, I got my husband because of Derek Jackson? Derek Jackson saved my marriage. Steve Harvey did this. Have you seen any of those videos?
Of course, I watch all that content.
No, you've seen women come out and say, I found my husband listening to these guys, following this information.
No, but they do follow that stuff.
I didn't ask you, okay, have you seen any videos saying that Kevin Samuels is the reason I married? There are 5 on my channel right now.
Yes, but they may not just produce that stuff.
Jesus.
I mean, I understand that. You produce it. You produce results. I will grant you that. They may not produce that or put that content or information out there to the general public. That's all I'm saying.
That's such a crazy argument. One of the best forms of social proof of your product is testimonials. Kevin would put videos on his channel of women thanking him for changing or altering their mindset so that she could get the man of her dreams if it existed. Why would these other content creators not demonstrate it, not show it? Is it because they know that they're selling nonsense? They're selling not education, but motivation? Is it because they know that their product is faulty? It is not faulty in the manner of making people feel good, but it is faulty in the manner of getting actual real world tangible results.
My thing is, you would get more viewers, you would get a better outcome.
Okay, you're right. I like the outcome I'm getting. This is what I'm gonna do, and it's working. And until you can show me something that's gonna work better, show me somebody who has faster growth, more views, more consistent outcomes. Show me somebody. Show me one person. Give me the business reason to do it.
You're right.
Then stop. Stop, please. because I don't like when we do this as men. I try to be nice, but there's no business reason. There's no practical reason. This is in your feelings.
I guess I was thinking your content was supposed to bring the black family back together. Bring
Holy
men and women
shit.
back together.
How many times have I... Can somebody else do it? Let me bring somebody else on.
But you're not. But
If people are getting... If there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 couples getting married because of me, that's bringing the black family back.
But for every five
listen, please. 5 people, 5 couples, black couples married.
Sure.
Dozens of women in the comment section. I'm a better wife. All kind of shout outs across YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I don't like the fact that we feel like we got to talk to our women in such a sugar and spice and everything nice when we are in a crisis. 1 in 4 will marry. 80% of children born out of wedlock. And you're coming to me with the same liberal, weak-wristed bullshit. Be nicer. Say it honeyed. Say it sweet. That ain't got us nothing. We need some good old-fashioned truth-telling.
But this generation of women aren't receiving.
Holy shit. You're still going.
They're not. I mean, honestly, they're not receiving it. I understand. Totally
Okay, I know
what you're
disrespect. Are you married?
saying. No, I'm not.
You ever been married?
No, I haven't.
Got any children?
No, I don't.
You got a girlfriend?
No.
I got several. I've been married, got kids. I think I know women better than you. You want to start pulling rank. I'm trying to be nice, man. Don't tell me about women if you ain't had no success with them, even fail with them.
I got you, brother. I won't even argue with you on that.
You can't argue this shit. I tried to let you off, man, but you're still pushing this point. Rooted in nothing.
Because I don't think you understand what I'm getting to. My point is, you may have 4 or 5 or maybe even 10 people that come on and say they've gotten married, but the majority, I'm focused more on the majority. That's all. I'm just saying the majority of women are not receiving it. They're pushing back. If you've got 1,000 women and only 10 women are getting married out of 1,000, then the majority aren't receiving it. That's the only thing I'm trying to get to. Once again, I respect your content.
And let me give you, and let me let you know the problem in what you're thinking. It's the bird in the hand versus in the bush. You're a marketing person. You should understand a tipping point. What percentage do you need to reach a tipping point?
I don't know. You tell me.
Now, what do you think?
To reach a tipping point, at least 40 to 50%.
10%.
Okay.
So I don't need 1,000. When 100 will do. You're trying to reach the masses. You'll never reach the masses. But when you reach a critical mass or a tipping point of 10%, the rest of the market tends to follow. Do you see people responding to my content? Do you see it starting conversations? How many platforms have you seen that have responded to Kevin Samuels? How many platforms have you seen where a black man is sitting next to a black woman and they're responding to this video? And then you look in the comment section. How many comedians are talking about it? How many people?
Rappers,
what are you talking
entertainers.
about?
I grant you that. You do have that. You do have you have started the conversation. So I would definitely.
And now you're trying to tell me do it different when it's working. And it's based in nothing.
But I'm not saying
if you had a business and it was working and you were number one and you were making progress and destroying your competition, you would go into the shareholders and we're going to change it and do it this way now. Right. They tell you you're out of your gosh darn mind.
And not just that, but that's why we're also still speaking about the content 3 years later. Because frankly, the numbers have not improved. They've either stagnated or gone down. And that is exactly why the content continues to resonate and exactly why the mission has to continue. The man on the right is an enemy of progression. He doesn't want change. He wants feelings to be coddled. He wants emotions to be considered in lieu of real change. These are the soft simp types that can't stand the feeling of someone disliking him for his opinion. So he folds to the masses. Let's keep going.
Let me ask you this. So do you feel that even if you were to change slightly, not 100%, but just change maybe 15%, that you would be able to get more.
Notice the
Just
question
people
you
would
just
receive
asked
it.
me. Do you feel like, the question you asked me is, do you feel like if I did this? I don't do business based on feelings. I'm a man.
Well, do you think that if
No,
you changed?
no.
Okay, okay.
Because if I did, I'd do it. Do I strike you as somebody who's not smart enough to be able to read the tea leaves?
I get it. It's your content. I get it.
It's not about my content. It's about what you have to understand is what you're saying is doesn't work. It doesn't work. We've tried it that way. It doesn't work. And I need more men to have some steel in their spine and start standing up and sounding more like me instead of like you. That's where you're failing your black brothers. This sounds weak. All women don't have to take us seriously. We got to go talk to them nicer. I'm going to tell them the truth and respect them as being the strong women that they are, and understand that they are smart enough to be able to make a decision. 1 in 4 of you are married. Either you change the way you pick a mate, or you'll buy a dog and die alone. I'm going to give them the benefit of being smart enough to use that PhD that they have and know that they're not getting the outcomes that they were marketed that they would get by being apart from their man, by calling themselves strong, independent. I don't need no man. That ain't working.
But they're not hearing you because they can't get past the hard experience.
All right. No, they've heard too much of men who think like you. Where are your balls? Ooh. Seriously, you're saying they're not hearing you. How many people in this show right now?
Where are your balls is crazy.
How many people in the show right now?
I can't see. I don't know.
They're not hearing you. My videos average 400,000 views. They're not hearing me. They're hearing me. You better believe they're hearing
you based on. Hearing you.
All right, man. You got it. You're right. And this is what I mean about power, money, and sex. I'm not going to argue with you, bro. But you got nothing to base what you're saying on. You've got nothing to base what you're saying on except feelings. And I respect your feeling, but I don't do
you can't
things
run your
based
business.
On
Yeah.
And even if I did, I don't feel like what you're saying is going to work because I've seen that it doesn't. 25,000 people in here. What you're saying, man, what you're saying, brother, is you've got nothing other than a feeling.
But are they watching for the shock value, or are they actually
Who gives a shit? They're watching.
The reach is still there, brother.
That's the point.
That's the point.
They're watching. And how many women have come? See, if you were really a watcher of mine, you would know that women come over and say, you know what? I thought this, but until I watched an entire video myself, and then I heard the logic, I heard the facts, I heard the stats, I heard this.
I've heard that. I've watched you for the last few years when you started out with men. So I've been watching your content.
Then understand that it's working. And now you're saying, well, if you just tweaked it a little bit, you get more. Well, you know what? The Colonel got 11 herbs and spices. Well, if you put 13 in, you get about a 20% bump in customers. I don't think so. The formula works. And I'm still got a man who's sitting here telling me, nah, I don't feel like it's going to work that way. And I'm asking you based on what? And you haven't said anything except I just feel this way. All right, based in what? I'm listening. Based in what?
Based off of the conversations that I have with women that detest the content.
What type of
women?
women?
I'm an advocate saying, hey, listen to
They
him.
detest the content. Are they over 30?
Yes.
Do they tend to be overweight?
Some.
Any of them have children out of wedlock?
They all do. I got you.
Any of them college graduates?
I got you. I see where you're going.
This is actually
But
insane.
if they listen to me, do you think they would get better outcomes?
If they actually paid attention.
Right. Do you think I'm the first person that told them if you lost some weight, you'd have a better health and get a better outcome?
But that's the problem. They're not.
No, it's not the problem. See, it's not the problem of information. See, you just defeated your own argument. It's not the information. They've been given the information several different ways. The problem is they've been given the information spoon-fed and soft. And you know how many people watch me and can't stand it, but they're still sitting there saying, I can't stand it, but they listen.
Can't say
and then
it's
they're
wrong.
wondering, why are they watching them? Because the women are getting something out of it. And what I don't understand is why, as a man, you're not on this side saying, yeah, instead of saying softer. We should be going harder. We're behind. Black boys are reading at a 4th grade level. These very mothers you're talking about, how are their sons doing? Would you want to be stepdaddy to any of them?
Oh, he's cooking them. No.
No, sir.
Then don't tell me about softening a message when we're failing our next generation of boys.
Oh.
And we're failing because they hear men who are sitting back saying, yeah, it'd be nicer.
Oh, no. Okay.
No other race of men has to be this damn nice.
Oh.
But no other race is as combative with one another as we are.
No other race of men need to be stronger than we do. See, this is where it falls on us. Brother, I keep saying the problem is brothers who think like you're too weak for this fight. I guarantee you this. Men who go into a place talking like me walk away with more of the women than you do.
Lessons in not how to simp.
Regardless as to how they look, women follow leadership and strength.
Sit back and take it all in, young brother.
Or do you disagree?
I agree with that. They do follow strength. I mean, in the business world, strength always comes out on top. So
things that your father should have taught you. It's actually crazy to watch a young brother sit back in a seat like that, because it's like he put himself in the position of finally listen, as opposed to listening to the cackling hyenas, a part of his friend group that don't like being told the truth. Now, I will say, Kevin got a lot. The brunt of his criticism was for his tone. But if you go back and you look at his long form content, his tone, his words were never ridiculous until that other person got ridiculous first. His tone would match their behavior. But I think above all, what people can extract from this conversation is that if you can prove the things that you say by some type of number, statistics, right, and you have a movement or something, a goal that's in mind, a North Star that's in mind, you will always have detractors. You will always have people telling you that it's not the best way to do it. But do you have enough conviction along with that evidence as a man, as a person, of not being afraid of whatever you decide to execute on, being firm within that, even though it might ruffle a couple of feathers? But from this content perspective, when you're dealing with something as wide sweeping as what this is and what is necessary for this type of change, you're going to ruffle a lot of damn feathers. But Kevin's ability to cut through the noise at this period, to ignore people's uncomfortability and to challenge people when they needed most, is why he became a cultural icon. I mean, shit, I was playing a card game not too long ago during a game night amongst my friends, and there was a Kevin Samuels card. I mean, that speaks to the brother's reach, but then also speaks to why he's correct in this conversation. Irrespective of his tone, the reach was at a level for these particular talking points that had never been seen before. Truth does not require soft packaging. Accuracy does not require rose-colored glasses. If we're going to fix the problems in our communities, in our families, or within ourselves, we have to start speaking with conviction. Anything less is just noise. All right, guys, drop your comments, questions, concerns down in the comment box down below. I thank you if you've made it to this component of the conversation with me. What do you guys think? Drop them down below. I want to hear your stories. I want to hear your opinions as well. So drop them. Until next time, YouTube, Peace.
You is ratchet as they come. Rainbow weaves and batwing lashes, weighing more than a man. What time is your football practice? I bet you can hit that A-gip like a mug. How you big back it? Said a man must buy you gifts. Where here goes a Fitbit tracker. Are you mad? Cause you got 3 kids by 4 different dads. You pick cookies, then you bash. Oh man, when you get sad, then